You're welcome back. This is Business Morning coming to you from Channels Television. We're now being joined by our second guest. He is Alfred Uweraka. He is the CEO of 3J Consults Limited. Thank you, Alfred, for coming on the program. I'm sure you were held up in traffic, I suppose.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, well, before you came on board, I've been talking to Tochi, and he said a lot about the agriculture export business. I want to take you up from this angle. We've said quite a lot, like I said. I want to start from this issue of the international standards of our agricultural products. Are we meeting up with the standards required, not just in our own country, but other countries that we're taking our products to?
This has been a major challenge over the years, and many of us in this business have tried to comply with their own standard. But we found out something. African products, they have mindset about certain standards. So they tend to create scenarios that surrounds top-end standards. But we've been able to bridge into to tell them the consumers and the standards you set may not relate to real business. We found out they're looking at the standard from the concept of their cold storage and all that. But we are looking at the product from a value-added standard of our own type of environment. So when you have a product that's living here to a such country, all you do is comply. But if you don't comply, you try and push them to appreciate what standards they should be looking at for. For us here, I think we've complied subsequent very well. But we think that a lot has to be done too from us. Even when we have standards set and we do that from Nigeria here, those of us who are exporting go beyond the standards here to try and make sure we can get into this economy and do business without having challenges.
Okay, I want us to still I'm going to stick with Alfred, but I want us to look at the issue of employment generation. I know that agriculture is one area that has been an interest to government over the years, and in recent times, the President Goodluck Jonathan's administration has paid so much emphasis on developing the agriculture sector. To what extent have we been able to generate employment for our people?
I must say it's more of, it's a lot more at the policy level now. Our people are yet to come to terms with realities on ground. Employment from the agri sector is the biggest source of wealth creation in any country, particularly when you have to do value addition. If you remain at the primary level, yes, everybody can go into cropping, animal husbandry. But what do you do with what you've gone on the primary harvest? So for us in the business, we found that employment from the agri sector is the key to any development all over the world. If you go to China and all Malaysia, you talk about every day. All they do is adding value to what they've got from here. So we think it's a major source of employment. But the various actors, the government, particularly at the state levels, the federal government can put a policy in place, but it's issue of implementation. Otherwise, look at processing plants that are lacking in this country. It's the biggest source of wealth creation. And processing plants have to employ people. You go to some part of the southern states, the amalgamation of this oil growth seems to have damped our thinking. We're in this box, so you can't get used to do the primary agri issues again. But there's a lot that can be done.
Okay, Alfred, still, you're going to take part of my time, this part of the time before we wrap up the show because you just came in. Okay, you talked about policies and that the federal government needs to look at policies. I've discussed that with Tochi before you came in. But what specific policies should we be looking at in this case to be able to strengthen agro-business and especially agricultural exports?
You start from trying to do support services. The major problem we have is support services. It goes in terms of funding, in terms of technology. Now, if you are going to do export, like we did in some time in Burkina Faso, we told the various head of states of the Africa, if you remain at the primary level, you're not likely to create wealth. You remain just a subservient to industries from countries abroad who will end up being finished products. So if the support services are well founded, you're going to see a tremendous growth. Those of us who export to some country, the world is very big. The world is a global village. I export to some places that you have demands, but you don't have resources to back it up. You need working capital to bring your raw materials, and at the same time, to process over time. And of course, the economies you are going to, they will be living on credits. I remember in the US, most of the uptakes in US is on credit. So when you have such challenge, the players around here don't have funds to run it. The policy on the issue of agri funding, on paper it looks good, but the implementation has its own challenges. I'll tell you one of the things you notice. If you look at Nexim as the instrument that we use to be a main backup for export for this country, it takes almost 1 year or two to get your facilities out of the ground. And
From Nexim?
Yeah, it's taking us quite some time. I must commend all of them who are running around. But if I look at myself and look at other smaller players, can they go to that extent that I've gone? So these are the issues that we need to align. Federal government can say, CBN, we're going to give you 500 billion to agri sector. How do you allocate those resources? The person you ask to go and pick that fund, what collateral are you expecting to take? The NISA program says about 30% collateral required to back it up from the bank. Federal government will take 70%. Look at the documents today. How many of these have been implemented? None of us almost have 100% of the collateral. But even to pick it up, what is required of you? So if you pick the grants up...
Are you saying that the grants are not getting to the people?
They're not getting to. I'll tell you why. I try to be a bit economic with that. You might get to some people, but structured guys. Structured people who have been there over the years. So what you are trying to do with agri is to spread the client. Get more players in the business who will employ all these massive people. Not a structured organization that has already got his place in his own employment and is there.
Okay.
So we do quite a lot of export if we can get funding.
Okay. I want to move to Tochi now. What association, I know that farmers form associations at one point or the other, they have groups that they represent. Hasn't the government been able to relate with this association, to ensure that they get whatever funding that they want?
Well, basically, like I mentioned earlier on, one of the gaps in the whole delivery system is farmers' organizations don't have a support system from the government. Now, the Federal Ministry of Agri especially, you have a situation where the farmers' organization don't even know what is. There are several of them, depending on the crop or the product okay, let's say cassava that I'm using as an example, or even in fishery too. Now, the challenge we've been having right now is that most of these organizations, they are now aware of what government is doing. There is low sensitization, even in processes of disbursement of these fundings. Now, this farmers' organization can form a block to even press for certain demands, because they are not strengthened because they don't have information. Let me give an example of like the cassava processors. In Lagos, in Lagos State, the NCAPMA, that's the Association for Cassava Processors, they are stronger than in the South, like in Port Harcourt. Like in Lagos here, they are aware of what is happening in terms of funds available and how you can... Yes, the other parts of... So there is low sensitization, there is a gap. While you go to Abuja, the farmers around the North Central are more aware of what is happening.
All right.
So the information dissemination level is very, very low.
Okay, we don't have time, but in just one minute, I would like you to tell us what products should we be looking at in terms of exporting at the moment? In 30 seconds each. I will start with Alfred.
I would say the base product we have in this country is where we have competitive advantage. It's mentioned products arising from cassava, the yams, and aquaculture.
Okay.
Rice has come to light. We underestimated our capacity of of rice. So those are the basic products
that we need.
The poultry is mostly for local consumption.
All right.
Otherwise, there's a lot. The weather is good.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have to leave it at that. Thank you. Our time is really up. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We've been talking to Alfred Uweraka. He's the CEO of Free J Consult Limited, and also Tochi Aduku. He's an agribusiness consultant. And we've been looking at the agriculture exports business as a way to diversify the Nigerian economy. And that's it on today's edition of Business Morning. Thank you for watching. We do appreciate your time with us. I am Bolaji Akinwale.